Someone asks you a simple question in English. So what do you think? And suddenly your mind goes blank. You understood everything they said. You followed the whole conversation. But now that it's your turn to speak, the words just won't come. So instead you smile. Maybe you say something short like, "Oh yes, I agree." But inside you're thinking, why can I understand English perfectly, but I can't actually speak it? If this has ever happened to you, 1, you're not alone, and 2, you're not bad at English. I'll say it again. You're not bad at English. You are simply experiencing one of the most common stages of learning a language. And today, I'm going to explain why that happens, and more importantly, what helps you move past it. Before we start, don't forget your free PDF outlining the content of today's lesson. Link is in the description below. First, you need to understand something important about how language works in your brain. Your brain actually uses 2 different systems for language. The first system is understanding, listening and reading, taking in language and decoding it. This is called receptive language. The second system is producing language. Obviously that is speaking and writing, creating sentences from scratch. This is called productive language. And here's the key point. These are not the same skill. That might seem obvious, but sometimes it needs stating. It might be, for example, a bit like watching a professional chef cook. You see the ingredients that they're using, you see the recipe, you understand exactly what they are doing, but that doesn't mean you could just go home and create exactly the same dish perfectly. Understanding something and doing it yourself are 2 completely different abilities. And in language learning, the gap between them can sometimes feel enormous. And here is another factor that people don't discuss enough, and that is pressure. When you are listening or reading, for example, listening to a podcast or watching a TV series, reading a book, there is no urgency. If you miss something, you can simply rewind. And if you don't understand, you guess from the context. When you're speaking, it's different. The moment someone asks you a question, there's a sudden pause. They're looking at you, they're waiting. And that silence can feel really long. Your brain starts searching for the perfect sentence, but suddenly everything disappears. But you're not forgetting your English. Your brain is simply reacting to pressure. It's not a language problem. It's a confidence problem masquerading as a language problem. Here is the trap that many learners fall into. They try to fix this problem by doing more of the same things. More listening, more reading, more grammar exercises. And don't get me wrong, all of those things are useful, but they will not fix your speaking problem, because speaking is a different skill. You can't improve your swimming by running more often. At some point, you have to start swimming in order to improve. You might be thinking, okay, that's the problem. What can I do about it? Let's discuss that now. Let me tell you 3 things that will genuinely make a difference. The first step is surprisingly simple. You need to lower the pressure. The fear of speaking often comes from our very human fear of being judged. And so the easiest place to start practicing your speaking is somewhere you feel safe. Talk to yourself out loud. No one can hear you, no one can judge you. Speak to yourself out loud. Describe what you're doing while you are cooking, while you are having a shower, while you are getting dressed. Speak to yourself in English. Describe your day, what your plans are, what you want to do, what you enjoy doing. And if you are in public, then speak in your head. Narrate your thoughts as you're walking somewhere. Nobody can hear you. That pressure is gone, but you are practicing the skill. You can also record yourself, and I would highly, highly recommend you do this, even if you feel a bit silly. I've talked about this on the channel before, but recording yourself is one of the most powerful tools to improve. 30 seconds about your day, listen back later. If you do that every single day, trust me, over time you will see a difference and you will feel more motivated as a result. And when you listen back, it isn't to criticize yourself, it's just to notice what you said. The goal at this stage is not perfection. If you wait to be perfect, you will never speak. The goal is getting comfortable producing English, not just listening to it. You need to get your mouth, your tongue, everything accustomed to forming the words. And the next one really changed actually how I teach English. Learn speaking in chunks. Fluent speakers don't build sentences word by word. They don't build sentences from scratch. They speak in chunks. And by that, I mean ready-made phrases that they can just pull from their memory. Phrases like, "Oh, that's a really good question," or "Let me think about that. I'm not sure, to be honest. No, I've never been there." These phrases act like bridges into a conversation, and they give your brain time to think. That is why native speakers seem to talk so fast. They're not constructing every sentence from scratch just using grammatical rules. They are retrieving phrases that they have used many times before. So instead of focusing on grammar rules, which yes, are still important, but instead of focusing only on them, start collecting useful phrases. Create a folder on your phone or write them down in a notebook. Say them out loud. When you are talking to yourself, for example, you need to start developing your speaking vocabulary, not just your reading vocabulary. And the final piece of advice is a mindset shift. This one is really important, so please, if you take anything away from the video, take this. Really hear me as I say this. Many learners are terrified of making mistakes. Learners think, oh, mistakes mean failure. If I make mistakes while I talk, I'm failing. But that is not true. Mistakes are actually one of the fastest ways the brain learns. When you say something slightly wrong and someone else corrects you, or even if you notice yourself and correct yourself, your brain remembers that moment. It sticks. That is learning happening in real time. And you probably already know this, but the students who improve the fastest are not the ones who make the fewest mistakes. They're not the ones who avoid making mistakes. They're the ones who make lots of mistakes in safe environments. Perfectionism is the enemy of fluency. And I can fully empathize with the perfectionists because I'm one too. But when it comes to speaking and learning a language, you cannot afford to be a perfectionist because then you will never speak. And that fear of making mistakes, of being judged, will be constantly holding you back. Always. The goal is not perfection, the goal is fluency. Honestly, the best you'll probably ever speak English is after a glass or two of wine, when your inhibitions are lower, when you don't care as much about making mistakes. I'm not encouraging you to go out and drink lots of alcohol, but if you have something that enables that lower inhibition, when you are at your most relaxed, speak English then, and try and take away that fear of making mistakes that's holding you back. It doesn't matter if you're not perfect, if you can be understood. And once you accept that, something interesting happens. The pressure drops. The anxiety fades away, and suddenly speaking becomes a whole lot easier. So if you understand English, but you are freezing every time you speak, there is nothing wrong with you. As I've said, that's a very common stage of language learning. The solution is not more of the same. It is not watching more, reading more, learning more rules. It is practicing your speaking. Practicing your speaking in a safe environment and trying to remove that fear of making mistakes. Embrace the mistakes. Be willing to make mistakes because that is the only way that you learn. And they don't make you look silly. They're just a sign that you are learning. And if you would like 20 ready-made phrases to help with these chunks, I have a free PDF with 20 expressions we use all the time. Link is in the description below, along with some other links, so make sure you have a look. There you have it. Well done. Keep going on this journey. I believe in you. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are interested in my courses or online lessons with me, details are below as well. Have a wonderful rest of your day and go off, lower the stakes, speak confidently. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.